So I've just been out here in the garden this morning doing some weeding. It's a beautiful morning. I'm trying to get myself to do an hour every morning. So we got some of the main garden done, but back here is still pretty weedy, but there's always tomorrow. But while this bed is still in shade, I thought I would come in here and pick the rest of my Haskaps. I've already picked most of them. This will probably be the last time I'm picking them. But this is what they look like. They're like a sour blueberry. My dog's over here catching flies. Yeah, I've picked quite a few already, and we're gonna make a jam today. All right, so I just got my little bowl. I know there's not gonna be much. Most of them already been picked, and this guy, any that fall on the ground, he's usually pretty quick to collect. He'll take them off the branches too, but only when I'm not looking. All right, let's get these picked and we'll go and make some jam. All right, so I'm in my kitchen. We're gonna get started on this Haskap jam. I'm gonna do a no pectin recipe. So it's kind of how you old-fashioned type of jam where you just boil it and bring it up to gelling temperature. So for the first thing I'm gonna do is weigh my Haskaps. I have some in the freezer too. So I have these ones I picked, and then I have some in the freezer that I picked a few days ago. Yeah, so I'm gonna weigh my Haskaps, and we're gonna do everything. I found said equal parts, but I do find we tend to like our jams a little less sugary, so I'm going to do 3/4 of a part of sugar to 1 part of berries. I'm glad to, I think I can fudge it a little bit because I'm not using the pectin, so it doesn't need a certain amount of sugar to activate. So I'm going to do it on my little induction top here so I can not turn on the big stove. Yeah, we'll get started and I'll show you what I'm doing. All right, so these are the berries I picked today. And we are at, and of course I've washed all these. This might make a little more than I realized. So these are frozen ones, but they might take up less volume, but they'll weigh the same. 1.4 kilograms or 1,400 grams. So I'm going to do 3/4 of that of sugar. So 1,400 grams of berries, and then we'll do 50 grams of sugar. Oh, I need to plug this in. Okay. So yeah, this is going to make quite a bit more jam. I'm using my Dutch oven because this is going to be brought up to 220 Fahrenheit. It's probably going to take 30 minutes or so. So I want to make sure that it doesn't scorch to the bottom, especially with all this sugar. So 50 grams, that's quite a bit of sugar. $10.50 right on the button. I'm so used to using Pomonas, this seems like a lot, but you'll probably notice if you've followed my channel for a while that I do make a lot of different types of jams. I know a lot of people like to make pie fillings as well to preserve fruit, or just straight fruit, which I do like to use that for stone fruit. But for berries, if we can't eat them fresh eating, I'll freeze them or make jam, because I find then I can make them into other recipes. Then I can make them into fruit leather. I can add them to desserts. So it just gives me some versatility. Okay. This is going to take a while to come up to temperature since it's cast iron. So I'll go grab my potato masher and I'll bring it back in a few minutes. All right, it's just been about 5 minutes. My pot is starting to warm up, but as you can see, the sugar is dissolving. And I'm just going through with my potato masher, mashing it up a little bit. These berries will, of course, break down on their own as this gets warmer as well, but just to give it a little bit of a head start. So as you can see, we're just coming up to a boil now. And now we want to bring this up to 220. I'm just going to decrease my heat a little bit so we can get a simmer going. Okay, Okay, it's been about 15 minutes. My thermometer's saying it's at 222 Fahrenheit. I think that's 110 Celsius. So just because I haven't made it without pectin before, I've just got a plate in the fridge that's cool, and I'm just going to do a gel test on it just to make sure that it's going to gel. Okay, it's been 15 more minutes. It now is up to 228, but it looks completely different. I don't know if you can see on the edges, but it's splattering now. There's no foam. And I just did the gel test, and we are good. So I'm going to turn off the heat on this. Oh, I also added 3 tablespoons of lemon juice. And now I'm going to jar it up. Okay, I didn't realize that wasn't recording, but now that I have all my jars filled pretty much. So I'm going to 1/4 inch headspace because it is jam. And yeah, I thought I might need, I brought up 8 jars and only made 6. So that's a lot of fruit. And then I'm gonna have a little bit left. I'll scrape out this. This will be my tester jar. I'm just gonna wipe my rims and put on my lids. And this is going to go in a water bath canner. Once it goes up to temperature, we're going to time it for 10 minutes. All right, I'll bring you back. All right, there's my timer. Ta-da! 3, 4. All right, there you have it. 1.4 kilograms of berries only made 6 half pints of jam, but I did my little tester batch and it's delicious. I'm glad I didn't put any more sugar in though. Hold on, I'll grab my jar. All right, so that's a little bit of leftover I had. I just put it in the fridge. So, as you can see, she's well gelled, and that's not even cooled off all the way yet, but yummy. Now that's all my Haskaps for the year, and those are about 3-year-old bushes. So if you're getting a jar of Haskap Jam from me this year, know that I must really like you. All right, have a great day. Bye now.